Good day. Happy Serenity Day. It has been a week, a very difficult week. I actually intended on doing this video on Thursday, Thrive Day, but that's what kind of week it's been. I couldn't get outside the way I wanted to, do the things that I wanted to do this week, which did cause some frustration, but I got some life stuff going on that I've been attending to, so that's kind of like the heart of this video. Sometimes we have good intentions with things. We experience unexpected failure, and then we just got to have some grace with ourselves and the things that we're doing, because sometimes things don't happen on schedule. So Tuesday, I went out after posting my Momentum Day video and noticed that one of the okra seedlings that I was just saying it's doing great, it was dying. So I was like, okay, what's going on there? And I was also just saying that I needed to thin one of the lemon cucumbers because they were looking like they were doing fine, but it was just maybe time to thin them. And I was like, I'm going to give myself another day. And I went out Tuesday, and I happened to notice that one of them was already wilted and laying over, and the other one, it looked like it was going. And I was like, okay. So that happened. And then Wednesday was a very anxious day. I was so anxious on Wednesday. I have some changes that I need to make in life, and I started to reach out to get support personally, socially, and even professionally. And so just a whole lot of, and a lot of focus work, a lot of phone calls, lots of Tuesday, having to be away from the house for a little bit to travel for work, doing some things. Like my whole schedule for the week was just jacked. And to be quite honest, I just did not feel like being outside. And I'm starting to notice when it starts to get hot, I don't really feel like being outside. So I got to figure that part out. So on Wednesday, I know better than doing this, but I did it anyway. I went out, it was about midday, and I thought I need to fertilize because I'm not going to get a chance to do it this evening. And I'm most likely not going to get a chance to do it tomorrow. And then my anxiety took over, and I know better because it was midday. It was full sun. Now my head was only in the 80s, so I should be okay. And I kept having this lingering thought about how I had done that my first year gardening, thinking it was only in the 80s, and had some experiences, but I was like, no, I'll just kind of wet them down. The sun is going down here in just a little bit, we'll be fine. So I first start out by doing my baking soda and water solution, and I didn't measure it. I just kind of eyeballed it. And I made a mistake and left some of the baking soda and water solution in the container that I was putting the fertilizer in. And I also made the mistake of spraying the plants down before I actually fertilized, and I caused some fertilizer burn. It was pretty sad. It was pretty hard to deal with. And things that were very green and pretty on Monday, within minutes, were no longer green and pretty, such as my borage and some other stuff. And then I just didn't feel good about it after that. So I got some things that I need to do and some things that I need to show y'all. But why am I talking about this? Because on Monday's video, I was talking about fruit and failure. And I feel like in some little way, it was good for me not to be able to go out and try to take care of everything Thursday and Friday, because I'm going out today, and things, while they don't look as great as they looked on Monday, they don't look as bad as they looked on Wednesday and Thursday. So I got some things that I need to do. So I got a list here. So this is my good intentions, but may not get all the way through that. So why am I spending the first part of this video on this? So if y'all just rock with me here for just a little bit. This notion of fruit and failure just really been kind of sticking with me. We tend to want to duck and run and hide from our failures. We do some of the same things over and over again, and we beat ourselves up. I know I do. And it's hard for me to be able to see the fruit in it. And yesterday I was out because I was pretty frustrated towards the end of the day. I worked pretty consistently for like 12 hours on a Friday. And I typically don't have to do that. Like, I had all intentions on being done by a certain time so that I could just go outside and play in the dirt, because I haven't played in the dirt all week, and it just didn't happen. And so I fussed a little bit to my husband, and he kind of just listened and said, okay. And he didn't really push on me at all. And the way I describe it is like, I feel like I've just been on all the time. Like, I'm constantly on. And going outside and playing in the dirt is a chance for me to not be on. But I also knew that if I'd gone out midday, I wouldn't have gotten what I needed to get done. And it was pretty productive yesterday, but it was just, I didn't really want to be sitting for 12 hours working. I did get up and take some breaks to water the garden, etc. But I still worked 12 hours straight. And I got outside in the evening. It was close to the time where I was contemplating making dinner. I really didn't want to do that. Hubs kind of gave me an out on that one. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to go buy food from a restaurant. Like, I really just want a nourishing meal. And so I went outside and I thought, well, you're not going to necessarily get to play in the dirt, but you can harvest. And I got outside and I started looking at things, and my perspective about it had shifted between Wednesday and Thursday and yesterday evening. I was looking at how, like, for example, I had wilted some of the arugula from spraying during the day. And the arugula looked better yesterday. And then I got excited because I'm going out to harvest lettuce, and I'm looking forward to having summer greens because we have not had to buy greens from the store in a month, and this is great. And I'm looking around and I'm like, there's your fruit. You can still see your fruit and failure in there. So fruit is, you learned about your anxiety and what you tend to do when you get anxious when it comes to gardening. You learned that you do that also in your work life and in your home life. My head tends to be up there in the future. I get really anxious about not being prepared for things and things coming and things piling up. So it's coming back and forth into life and in gardening. But I got out there and I'm harvesting lettuce, and y'all, the bowl is just overflowing with lettuce, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is about a week and a half, 2 weeks worth of salad greens, and the lettuce plants are still thriving in the heat. I snip off lettuce, I'm looking around, and I happen to notice that the ginger is starting to sprout up, and although the arugula got a little wilted, it looks bigger because feeding the plants actually did what it needed to do. Now, some things did not do as well as others, but there were some things that I could do. I was down and I was looking around, just checking for bugs, and I could see moths coming out. So I'm like, shoot, I'm going to have to do BT again, which was part of the mistake that I made. I used slightly more BT than I had used before, and now I know I'm not going to do that anymore. But I'm like, the moths are out, and moths are great, but their babies are not great because they're going to be nibbling. And I look down in there and a moth comes out, and I see this nice branch coming off one of the tomato plants, and I just watched the video, and I have already learned how to propagate a tomato stem to make another plant. And I was like, I got another plant off a plant that I could use. So things are doing good, despite my mistakes. I got cucumbers coming and watermelon coming. And I think I have finally accepted. I don't think I'm going to be doing that good with squash this year either, because some of them plants just look terrible. Y'all get ready to see here in just a little bit. But that's okay, because I'm going to make space to move things around, transplant okra, because we want more okra. They grow well during the summer. Maybe I need to reconsider the seed company that I'm getting the okra seeds from, and the variety of okra here. Squash. Maybe I need to reconsider the seed company that I'm getting the squash seeds from, correction. And maybe I need to reconsider which varieties of squash that I should be growing. Because the heat here in squash, like I even tried starting early. It's too cold because they're supposed to be warm climate vegetables. It's too cold for them to do anything, and then by the time it heats up, it's too hot. It is way too hot here. Like it's been in the 90s. And so I got things I could do. Fruit and failure. I'm going to keep teasing this fruit and failure thing out until some more observations come out. But I just want to say, when you are going through things in life, one, if you need support emotionally, mentally, mentally, socially, spiritually, psychologically, find your resources that are available and use them. I'm a big advocate for therapy, and now I'm a big advocate for coaching because I have a business coach and she's amazing and it's going really, really good. And I got coaching happening in other spaces for business as well. It's just going great. But even in that, having these discussions, I have to talk about the failures and what I'm learning through them. And so this week I am learning that my anxiety is good, but when it takes over and becomes unhealthy, I do unhealthy things. I do things that are actually counterproductive. And I just need to slow down a little bit and just be okay with not doing something. Like, quite frankly, I could have just waited to fertilize. It wasn't going to be that big of a deal. It really wasn't. But I made it a big deal. So as you see, I'm in my hat. I'm ready to go out. I got my list. I have a long list. I need to transplant okra seedlings. I need to propagate the tomato branch. I need to sow some more cover crop seeds because the clover took a hit. Took a major hit. It's supposed to be 70 to 90 days before the clover reaches maturity. It didn't even get there. It took a hit. I need to replace the squash plants with some watermelon seeds. I've decided. I'm going to grow some more watermelon because last year I only got one and I wasn't too happy about that. So this is an opportunity. Pull up some of those squash plants, plant some watermelon seeds. I need to move the strawberry plants again. I have been giving them more attention, but that morning sun, they're not getting it. I just don't know where just yet. I still need to transplant the milkweed. I haven't done it yet. And the echinacea seedlings. I got to look for some large pots. Hubs and I are talking. I want to grow some sweet potatoes. We had the last batch of potatoes from the garden earlier this week. And the next day I had to go buy some potatoes from the store. And these are supposed to be organic potatoes, y'all. They not cheap either. They didn't taste the same. So now we're convinced. I don't even think we want potatoes from the store now, unless we absolutely have to. And I don't think I'm going to be buying anymore. So I got to look for some sweet potato slips because I did not start any. So I might look for some. And then Home Depot had what they would call the seed for a sweet potato. It's basically just putting the potato in the ground. I might try that. I don't know. I got to replace the marigolds and the raised beds. They're done. You'll see in just a second. I need to thin the cherry tomato seedlings, and then I need to deadhead the snapdragons, but I made some observations about the snapdragons, and I did not deadhead them yet because I wanted to show you those. So that is my beginning of the Serenity Day update. Hopefully outside update will be short and brief, but I just want to show y'all some things. And I hope everybody is having a good Saturday. And if you're watching this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just hope you're having a good day. So see y'all outside. All right, so heading outside and to give y'all some updates. Closing up to teens. All right, so heading outside. All right, so maybe we will start with some good things. All right, so some good things. I hand pollinated a female watermelon flower. I think that was on either Sunday, and pollination success. So we have our first watermelon coming. Second good thing is this one. That's a female. The flower opened up yesterday, and I pollinated it, hand pollinated it with paintbrush, so it looks like it's going to do good. And then this morning, I came out and noticed that this one had 2 male flowers. So 2 male flowers in this female here. So I hand pollinated it this morning. So that is a good thing that is happening. The tomatoes got an unexpected pruning due to the fertilizer burn, which this is evidence of some of the fertilizer burn. It looked way worse on Wednesday, but they got pruned because I had to get some of the damaged branches off. Same thing with the cucumber, which is ready to be pruned again here in just a little bit. But this is the poinsettia, fruit and failure. Remember I said first year, poinsettias I did not do good. Well, look at there. My first cuke is coming. So, a little bit of a pause for the cause. When your cucumbers are starting to fruit, pay attention to how dry they may look. The plants need water. So I no longer am able to not turn the soaker hose on for at least an hour in each bed every day. They have to have them now because things are starting to fruit. Otherwise, things won't go anywhere. The thing about watermelon, when you grow them, a couple of observations. Watermelon, the actual melon, or the fruit, do not like to be in direct sun. So, if you put them in direct sun, they will burst. Trying to see what that is. Oh, that's just the flower, sorry. They will burst. So one, the actual fruit does not like to be in direct sun. They also have to be watered using the same rhythm. So if you water at a certain time of the day, you have to keep that rhythm, or otherwise they will burst. So now I have to get some rhythms, and this is not necessarily a bad thing. So that's some observations about that. So this bed has not been watered yet. That bed is actually being watered. The soaker hose is actually on now. And it's been going for about 30 minutes. Now, the water from the soaker hose and the bottoms of the bed will kind of run off, and the beds will drink from the bottom. So this is okay that it's going. Water won't be wasted. It'll go somewhere, trust me. So if you look down here, the water is going, but I still have to soak the beds. So that's a new thing for about an hour. people are like, your water bill is crazy. We don't have high water bills here, so that's good news. And so yeah, that's that. I also am very happy. This was the different variety of nasturtium that I was talking about. Usually I have like some yellow or orange ones. This one was, see how pretty it is. There's that. So some more failure. Look at what happened to the clover. Now, mind you, this is the furthest that I've been able to get to with clover. But I was a little worried, and now here today. So see fruit and failure. In the middle of, let's see if I can get closer. That was not there. So there is some new life coming right here under where my finger is. And if I put my finger there, it just gets blurry. So let's see. So right in the middle. Right about where my finger is. So there's some new life coming. So they're bouncing back, which makes me happy. Alright, so some more burn. This was the, those are the alpha B8s that I originally put in. They're not too close together. There's some space in between them, so I'm leaving them alone for a little bit to see who the strongest is. But notice how my Temparis, they were so green and pretty, and I did that. So those are some of my failures. Alright, so let's kind of come around here. Like I said, some of the arugula kind of took a hit, but that looks so much better than a couple of days ago. So they bounced back. Just gotta watch them and just be okay with what happened. So let's walk over here to this cucumber plant. I did have to take some of the ones that I thought would become cukes off because they were dying back, but one of them that is my Space Master. So again, I'm gonna prune. On that plant, I'm most likely gonna get off those lower 4 so that the plant can focus its energy up top, and I'm probably gonna do it here as well. This tomato plant, I did that, so notice the blossoms are browned because that was me spraying. So I did a foliage spray with feeding them in midday, and that's just some of the damage to it. I had to snip off a branch, the entire branch, because again, I made some mistakes, but let me see here. It's still fruiting. So right here, that's a tomato baby coming. That is aroma. So it's still fruiting. It's still doing good. Now, if y'all can see how emotional I was the day that it happened, it was pretty bad. I was pretty emotional. And there's more where I actually did some more damage. Obnoxious is, so let me turn the camera around. That's my head. So back here where you see this, that's about in the height of my head. So that's where Obnoxious has overgrown. Look. Now remember, I said I thought Obnoxious was gonna die because he wasn't looking that great for a couple months, and he has officially outdone my first pea plant, which I think now is starting to die back. In this bed, everything seems to be doing fine. I am gonna have to thin here. So this is a lemon cucumber, so I'm most likely gonna snip that one down there off. There's 2 there. And then this one is just one, but it's doing just fine. I'm gonna thin the tomatoes. I was looking for which one has the strongest stem. So from the two that are in here, this one, the stem is not as strong as that one. So most likely that one is going to go, so that they're not competing. Because if I leave them there, there'll be some issues. I harvested a lot of lettuce yesterday, so this bed is now officially getting more sun. I also harvested some dill. But everything seems to be doing good. And look, more zinnias. Which I have to figure out how to deadhead them so that they keep going. Alright, so that squash seedling, it's gonna go. I'm going to pull that squash seedling because it's gonna go. I am getting worried about that one lemongrass, but I'm gonna be patient because that one little green is sign of life, but they are doing better. Look at there since Monday. All right, so more strawberries are coming. This is, I left one on so you can see it, but this is what happened with the borage when I sprayed it. It was pretty and green, and I did that and the fertilizer burn happened. Look, but it's still kind of blossoming. This one, same thing. And I didn't snip anything off of this one, I just decided to leave it. But this is what happens with some of the nasturtiums with the fertilizer burn. So yeah, that's updates on that. I didn't even notice that until just now. So, gonna harvest some berries. I simply cannot wait until those get to where they need to get to next year. So see here, fertilizer burn. But overall, things are starting to pop back. Those are my summer greens, the arugula. They're moving a little slow, but they're coming back. One of the spinach plants that I started from seed earlier in the year is actually making it. So wasn't expecting that. So that's good. The chamomile didn't really get impacted. So yeah, let's come out here. That one squash plant seems to be wanting to try to do okay, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But these beans, they're just done. This was the experiment bag, and since I've had to move it from the spot between the trellis to here, it's not looking that great anymore either. So I have decided that I'm going to just go ahead and yank this zucchini plant, that zucchini plant, because look, it just looks bad. I mean, it's been sick multiple times. It just looks bad, and it's getting hot. It's just way too hot for them to thrive. That bean plant, and again, I didn't plant those beans to get anything out of them. I did them to fix the nitrogen in the soil, so I'm going to pull them out and most likely put okra in here, especially because okra can be planted with garlic. Same thing here. This bean and squash, not doing good. It's coming out. Alright, so this is where the moths I'm noticing are hanging out. So yeah, but this is the 2 alpha B8s. Just noticing down here. Let's see if I can get it off. It's a pea pod. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it needs to be harvested. But it's down there. So what I'm suspecting is that this plant is just about done. which is not the worst thing in the world because then it can let some more sun into that spot. All right, so remember I was talking about the lemon cucumber. This was the one. It's done. So I left it there on purpose so you could see it. I'm wondering if it's not getting enough water because this watering stake is here and that one is over there, and that's what happened. I don't know, because the tomato here is just doing just fine. And I'm gonna thin today. So that one is going and this one will stay so they're no longer competing. All right, so this is my big boy. I gotta give him a name. Maybe that's it right there. Big boy. All right, so I'm sorry. Big old garlic and plant in the way. I don't know if y'all can see where my hand is. This is the main stem where my hand is. And just down there is a stalk from the tomato plant going to the left. That is the one that I'm going to snip off and propagate, because notice the plant is now starting to lean. So it's going to need some support right now. The garlic is doing it, but sorry, that's not a great view, but it's starting to lean. So it needs some support. So that's the one I plan to propagate. And I'll keep some video going so you can kind of see how that's going. But the good news is tomato babies. 1 and 2. So I'm getting Romas. Yeah. It's getting heavy and big, which I was kind of concerned with. So it's going to need some support. I might just take some garden twine and tie it onto it and use that cage to just kind of pull it in that direction. All right, so I am noticing that alyssum and marigolds probably should not be put this close together. Now these were transplants from Home Depot, so whatever. But the alyssum is kind of just taking over this container for Bee Highway, and they're not doing good. But this could have also been as a result of my doing too. So fruit and failure, but things die. That's just how it is. I did just go ahead and decide to pull the dead pea plant right here, but these are the okra. And I'm just gonna go ahead right now and pull those little teeny tinies off, because they're not gonna become full pods. The plant's not big enough, so I wanted to put its energy on becoming a bigger plant. All right, so the leaves on the ginger are starting to form. See there? There's another ginger emerging right here. And there's one more in here somewhere. But anyway, all of them have emerged. These are the marigolds that I have to replace. They have been there since last year, so they're done. They're just done. Might buy some more, might start some from some seeds. I don't know yet, but they need to be replaced. My husband is going to be like, you could put some seeds down. Okay, so another thing that I discovered in the last couple of days, the last of the carrots are starting to form, such as this one. So that's good. Hopefully I can get them out good here. This one is also starting to form as well. Look here. See that? That's a carrot top starting to form. They're getting taller. The ochre baby in this pot is happy. But they love sun and heat, so I'm not surprised. Hanging on. I really hope I can get that into a pot and get Mexican sunflowers. So we're starting to do good. Alright, so remember I transplanted 2 okra seedlings, one here, and I planted tempari beans next to it. Now this bed got the fertilizer too and nothing burned. So I've been kind of just pondering on that, but nothing burned in this bed. But that one died and I pulled it up. And so what I discovered yesterday was that I did not turn, see if I can get this off. I did not have the irrigation on full blast. What I mean by full blast, that's full blast. It was still down where it was just dripping out. So this area of the bed was not getting a whole lot of water. I discovered that yesterday. So prayerfully, when I replace a seedling right there, they do better. And that should work because that one is on full blast. And so is that one. At least, yeah, because I can see it coming out through there. And this one is doing fine, but this is also getting some shade. So that was the one that gave up the ghost. Alright, so it is about 90 degrees outside. Y'all, it actually feels better in the greenhouse than it does outside. Alright, so fertilizer burn on the beans, but I harvested beans yesterday, so yeah, still becoming a little bit of a monstrosity. Now my feelings was not hurt about fertilizer burn on some of these nasturtium leaves because it's getting crazy. I'm still waiting for an opportunity to show what it looks like when a flower dies back and gives us a nasturtium seed. So I'm hoping I can get an update with that soon. Because as you see, everything is doing really good in here. I will say, now this is fertilizer burn. This is another lemon cucumber. This is fertilizer burn. That was not there before that, but this yellowing on this one, so there's 2 seedlings right there that was there before it happened. So I have made my mind up. I believe that I am going to I want to say I want to get, oh, this is the one I want to thin. My only hesitation is that it is just literally right next to the edge of the cage, so it'll be supported. This one is a little away from it, and not very much. I'm talking about maybe an inch or so away from it, so I could train it. That's not the worst thing in the world to be able to do. So here's what I mean. They're still really close together. See, there's not much space between their stems. My hand is on that one, and there's a stem to the other one. This one is very close to the cage, and this one is not, but that doesn't mean it can't get trained. So this one appears to be giving me some new growth here in the middle. I'm almost certain I'm going to thin that one. These cherry tomatoes did get impacted by fertilizer burn, but there are like 3 of them, well actually 4, now that I'm looking at it, in there. So they definitely have to be thin. So I'm probably going to take off these 2 edge ones, that one and keep the one in the middle. This is my first time growing, I think, what would be considered a African marigold. And y'all, they get taller. I kind of like that. Can't remember. Yeah, I think this was the African ones. But they get taller, and I kind of like that. So, the milkweed, I gotta do something. And soon. Or otherwise, I'm gonna have some issues. And give them a little water. And I just noticed even back there on the echinacea, I got some molding happening on the soil. Alright, so almost done with the updates. I made a decision. I moved the 2 square containers into the greenhouse, and I'm going to sow okra in them. And I'm going to soil up these 2 pots, and the molehia will go there. Alright, so like I said, it's about 90 degrees outside. All of the fans are on. It's about 12:30, and it's about 100 degrees in the greenhouse, so about a 10-degree temperature. Not bad. Not bad. All right, so last observation. Snapdragons before our day hit. Okay, so I came out and I happened to notice all of these petals, and I've never let snapdragons go to seed. So then I was out, and while I'm sitting here just kind of observing this, a petal drops over here. This was yesterday actually, and thankfully I can make an observation. So the petal starts to drop off, and this little piece pops out, and that's when it's going to seed. These have been popped off for a while, and I noticed that they're a little swollen. So if I wanted seeds from this snapdragon, I could let it go, but I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm also noticing here that even though these petals are kind of dying back, they're growing up top, so that changes things then. That was not like that yesterday, y'all. That changes things a little bit. I can't deadhead because it wants to give me flowers. Deadheading would be taking all of that off, and it wants to give me more flowers. So okay, we'll leave it. I harvested more parsley yesterday, quite a bit, because it was starting to grow out everywhere. So I just go around the bottom edges and grow out. So I have parsley in the house that we can actually eat. And see, as you see here, the clover that kind of took a hit. They look like they want to come back, so maybe I won't have to do things. All right. So I think that's all I got. Thank you for spending time with me. Fruit and failure. So, beginner gardeners, sometimes waiting a day or so is okay, and sometimes it's not. The more you garden, you'll know. I could have waited, but it's okay. I didn't wait. Everything is like doing okay. You would have saw my emotions on Wednesday. I came out after a meeting and I was emotional. Like, I can't believe I did that. Like, I beat myself up pretty bad about it. And then Thursday I came out and I just really wasn't feeling good about it. And maybe that was part of the reason why I didn't want to come outside, because now I'm out here and I'm seeing things are okay and I actually want to be out here. But I'm not going to be out here too long because it's hot. So I'm going to do some thinning, and that'll be about it because it is hot. But beginner gardeners, like these, when you see these videos and everything looks green and pretty, that's not always how it's going to turn out. They've had a lot of experience. This is the most green I've seen in my garden. Like, I have failed a lot. I'm even learning through this failure. So I'm not gonna transplant right now. It's too hot. I'm not gonna get to do it later today because it's date day. But I am gonna thin. I am going to thin. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. The soil would just dry up if I came out and tried to sow some seeds right now, so I'm just not. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the day where I'll pull the squash tomorrow. Just made my mind up. But garden life is good. It's so good. Garden life is good because it can teach you a lot about you. It helps you slow down and pay attention to yourself and become aware of who you are and what kind of changes you need to make. It was out in the garden that I realized that I am not coping through some things very well. And I don't like coping anyway, because I wasn't designed to cope, and neither were you. You weren't even designed to manage. You were designed to overcome, but before you can actually overcome, you gotta learn how to cope and then manage. And then you can move into a space of overcoming. And that's what garden life can give you. That's one of the reasons why it's good. It's also good because you can grow your own food. You can have a positive impact on your own finances, your own health, and the environment around you. So many people that are connected to me have started gardens. So there's that. Garden life is also good because it helps you get up and move and be physical. As a lyricist, I'm standing here now recognizing my breath, so it's going to help me train myself to breathe better. So garden life is good. It's so good. Go play in the dirt.